The Discourses of Christ of the Last Days. Words on Knowing God's Work and Disposition. Excerpt. Several years after this stage of work began, there was a man who believed in God but did not pursue the truth. All he wanted was to earn money and find a partner, to lead the life of the rich, and so he left the church. After roaming around for a few years, he returned unexpectedly. He felt great remorse in his heart and wept untold tears. This proved that his heart did not leave God completely, which is a good thing. He still had a chance and a hope of being saved. Had he stopped believing, becoming the same as non-believers, then he would have been completely done for. If he can truly repent, then there is hope for him yet. This is rare and precious. Regardless of how God acts, and no matter how he treats people, even if he hates, detests, or curses them, if there comes a day when they can make a turnaround, then I will take great comfort, for this will mean that they still have that little bit of room for God in their hearts, that they have not completely lost their human reason or their humanity, that they still want to believe in God, and they have at least some intention to acknowledge and return before Him. For people who truly have God in their hearts, no matter when they left God's house, if they return and still hold this family dear, then I will become somewhat sentimentally attached and will take some comfort in it. However, if they never return, I will think it a pity. If they can return and truly repent, then my heart will especially be filled with gratification and comfort. That this man was still capable of returning implies that he had not forgotten God. He returned because in his heart, he still longed for God. It was very touching when we met. When he walked away, he certainly was being quite negative, and he was in a bad state. If he can come back now, though, it proves he still has faith in God. However, whether or not he can continue forward is an unknown factor, because people change so quickly. In the age of grace, Jesus had mercy and grace for humans. If one sheep was lost out of 100, he would leave the 99 to look for the one. This line does not represent a kind of mechanical action, nor a regulation. Rather, it shows God's urgent intention to bring salvation to people, as well as His deep love for them. It is not a way of doing things. It is a kind of disposition, a sort of mentality. Thus, some people leave the church for 6 months or a year, or have however many weaknesses or suffer from however many misconceptions. And yet their ability to later wake up to reality, gain knowledge and make a turnaround, and get back on the right track makes me feel especially comforted and brings me a little piece of enjoyment. In this world of gaiety and splendor, and in this evil age, being able to acknowledge God and get back on the right track is something that brings quite a bit of comfort and excitement. Take raising children, for example. Whether or not they are filial, how would you feel if they did not acknowledge you and left home, never to return? Deep down, you would still keep on feeling concerned about them, and you would always wonder, when will my son return? I'd like to see him. After all, he is my son. and it wasn't for nothing that I raised him and loved him. You have always thought this way. You have always longed for that day to come. Everyone feels the same in this regard. To say nothing of God, is His not an even greater hope that man will find their way back after having gone astray? That the prodigal son will return? People these days are small of stature, but the day will come when they understand God's intention, unless they have no inclination toward true faith, unless they are disbelievers, in which case they are beneath God's concern.